Good morning, everybody. Grace here. We are obviously with the Wilco Falcon 7x at Mumbai in India. And as you can see looking around, a typically very terrible, crappy, foggy India morning. Actually, it's a very good India morning comparatively. I'll bet there's 2-mile visibility, maybe even more. Typical morning would be a 1/4 mile visibility. But anyway, we're in Mumbai and we are going to Kathmandu, which is Victor November Kilo Tango, in the foothills of the Himalayas. That's 800 and some miles away. And we are going to meet up with the premier, which is on its way westward. Right now it's at Haneda in Tokyo, and our next flight after this probably will be with the premier from Haneda to Kathmandu, which is 2,800 miles, I think. That's stretching its range, but it can do it. I went direct in the premier from Anchorage to Haneda a couple of days ago. That's 3,000 miles. That's about it. I was very low on gas last time I got there. But anyway, I haven't made a video in a few weeks. This is the first one. Glad to be back in the thick of things. Got the holidays out of the way. This is January 16th, 2019. It's a Wednesday. It's definitely a Wednesday. I think it's January 16th, but it's either the 16th or 15th, whatever. If you guys are interested enough, which I seriously doubt, you can always check that out. So, I've been wanting to talk about, I'm just very much wanting to promote this airplane, because everybody in the flight sim community, and I mean, I think just about everybody, has given up on it as having any hope at all of being useful. And I have found in the last couple of months, and if you've been watching some of my videos, to an increasing degree, I'm finding it's very useful. It's not only very useful, but it's a highly competent corporate jet aircraft with a really long range, a really high flying altitude capability, and it's very fast. But anyway, we're not going to really test that today because it's only an 800-mile flight. What we will be testing is the ability of the navigation systems as I've got them to get into a pretty hairy airport. Kathmandu can really be a challenge. It's in the foothills of the Himalayas, especially when the visibility is bad, which is usually. So, the flight line flight is started. The folks are on board, and we're getting ready to get going. Okay, battery on. Open the door. Connect external power. Interior lights. Exterior lights. And let's look outside and make sure that's all been done. External power, lights are blinking, okay. Back inside the airplane. You can see everything's on, okay. Let's go do the 2D cockpit, where I have already laid out the abstract of the moving map, the MFD and the PFD, which you can get to When you first get here, you get a blank screen. It's just like the traditional F10 cockpit in FSX. Shift 3 and Shift 4, I'm pretty sure what gets it. Then I'm going to go Shift 2. Try to. Just keyboard here with my spastic hand. There we go. Jeez. For the purpose of getting rid of fly-by-wire. And if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that that is my basic strategy with this airplane. The thing about fly-by-wire is, unless you disable it, you cannot turn off the autopilot. And if you can't turn off the autopilot, you can't make a bunch of other stuff stop when it's time to land it. Now we've got a basic airplane that's ready to be given normal instructions. We don't worry about the FMC or multiple waypoints or filing complicated flight plans. Just watch what I do. I file direct. Here's the next step along the way. Our destination is Kathmandu, Victor, November, Kilo, Tango. So up here on the cross, click that down, click search, and that sets you up looking like this. Now we're going to go 2 screens down the road to the keyboard and type in Victor, November, Kilo, Tango. I'm going to scroll back with the V key. Show me Kathmandu, Tribhudu International. That's it. Click. Click. And there you can see my little pink line going that way, which is what I would expect. Okay, hit the Victor key twice. I think we're ready to start engines. Side closure up. Now the external power unit, the ground crew will come automatically and take it away as soon as engine number 3 fires. So don't worry about that. Close up the door, start engines. And that is done very simply by simply flipping the engine start key. Wait to make sure the 3 fuel valves go forward. They just did. Start procedure is initiated. Now we'll set up the HSI. First, click the VOR2. We want a bunch of wine-colored stuff in here. That's the first thing. FMS. One engine fired, now the CDI. And you want to click the FMS choice in all of these. And the VOR1, come on. You don't have a little hand, it won't do anything. FMS. There we go. Now everything is wine colored, which is what we want. This pointer right here is pointing at the destination, and it always will. And that's a very key element in our strategy. Okay, middle engine is starting. Let's call tower and get out of here. Okay, we're lit up.
Mumbai round, Foxtrot, Delta Foxtrot, Charlie Sierra, with X-ray. Request taxi for takeoff, departing straight out. So Foxtrot, Delta Foxtrot, Charlie Sierra.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Round, airport is currently IFR, request denied.
Of course you're IFR, you're always IFR. ATIS.
Airport information, X-ray, 01550, wind 901 and 4, visibility
27. All the way around. This takes forever, and you know, I'm sure people sit there, why do you take all this time just to set up these arrows, these pointers? It helps me to orient myself as to what the situation is. The direction I'm taking off in is 27. And especially now with an IFR airport, I'm not going to get any progressive taxi. So let's see, what are we doing here? Where is 27? Oh, that one. Okay. Alright. So we'll go out here and work our way left. That's 27 that way, going that direction. Alright. Are we ready? I believe we are. Taxi light on. Actually, a really brightly lit morning. Mouse yoke, engage. Yep, here we go. I use the mouse yoke. You guys have seen my previous videos. You've probably heard explanations ad nauseum about it. Basic reason is that due to my multiple sclerosis disability, my hands do not work terribly well. I'm not really good getting on to the joystick. And I have developed a substitute skill using the mouse as a joystick. And I had a rough time with it initially, but I learned a few tricks about setting it up, and I've gotten pretty good at it, actually. This thing, this Falcon, is a joy to hand fly. I mean, it's nice with the joystick too, but it's rock solid, it's completely dependable, does exactly what you want. It taxis straight as an arrow. Okay, what are we doing here? Hopefully we're doing the right thing. We are. Okay. Oh yeah, oh yeah, okay. Do I want to go on down? Yeah, we'll go on down a little bit. That's 27 over there. If I made a right now, I'd go to the end of 27. But I'll get into the overreach. I'll make a right here. We're into the displaced threshold. Okay, we don't have to call for taxi clearance because we ain't going to get it. One notch of flaps. What else do I need to do? I think we're good. I don't have to worry about vertical trim because it sets itself up apparently. It's never an issue. It's always okay.
RDA, Victor Tango Alpha Bravo Lima is cleared to Kathmandu Airport as filed. Flight runway heading, climb and maintain 5,000. Departure frequency is 127.9er, squawk 0125. RDA, Victor Tango Alpha Bravo Lima cleared to Kathmandu Airport.
We're ready to go.
Flight runway heading, climb and maintain 5,000. Departure
Here we go. Take off power.
127.9er, squawk 0125. RDA Alpha Bravo Lima, readback is correct. Contact ground on 121.9er, ready to taxi. Mumbai ground on RDA Victor Tango Alpha Bravo Lima with X-ray, ready to taxi IFR. RDA Victor Tango Alpha Bravo Lima, taxi to and hold short of
Oh my
runway
goodness, she
27,
will fly, she will
taxiway
fly.
Sierra, runway
Okay,
9er,
gear up.
Bravo 4 Delta Bravo 3 Hotel, contact tower on 118.1 when ready. Taxi to and hold short runway 27 via taxiway Sierra, runway 9er, Bravo 4
That's it.
Delta Bravo 3 Hotel.
Sync rate.
RDA Alpha Bravo Lima.
Pull up.
Man, is this thing performant today? That's a little low on the power. There, that'll do. Alright. Mouse yoke off. Initiate autopilot. Initiate LNAV. Initiate climb. See what's going on here. A little too much power in. I'd say just let her squeal. Here's the altitude setting. See what's going on. Well, geez, put a little power in. We're going very fast, we have very little power in. What's up here? Okay, let's put some more climb in. Let's try VNAV. Oh. 2,000 feet a minute. Okay, I like that. How are we looking here? Not too bad. Juice up a little more power. Let's do that for now. Grease the... Let's see, we're going 800 miles. We don't need to go to 50,000. I'd say 27,000. $27,500. Power come down slightly. Well, let's fix the map. Show terrain. And fix that from heading magnetic to track, which isn't changing too much, that's fine. Still showing 304 knots of airspeed with only 68% power, and I have no intention of changing that. You can see how the destination pointer right there is lining up exactly with the red course line, which is exactly what you want. I think it's time to go to 2x. Let's first flip off the taxi light, because otherwise I'll forget to do it. 600 miles from now, I'll realize I've done a whole flight with it on it. It's just sloppy. Try not to do stuff like that. Okay. What else? We're still a little hot and we're not climbing real well. Well, yeah, we're climbing all right. Could be better. I'm going to leave that be for now. Let's go to 2x. Make sure I wasn't in some other mode or something. Down to T. Well, see now, look, it's showing 4,000 foot a minute climb. The green bar. That's what the nose is actually doing. And you can see right there, it says 4.2, 4.3. Where are we in? Oh, that's what we did. Didn't mean to do that. 40, all right, a little more power. Uh-huh. Let's go to, I don't know, 31.5. Let me go a little higher. Yeah. Okay, where are we? It says we're showing 2,000 feet a minute. Okay, see, this is one of the intricate studies of this thing. Oh, now it's, okay, see, I come back, now it's up at 4,000. And our airspeed is at 330 knots, which is pretty damn high. So, you know, for now, I'm going to just let it go. Hopefully it'll square itself away. The airspeed will come down a little bit. Nose will come down. Just sometimes with this airplane, you've just got to let it settle down. See, now things are looking better. 318 is a little faster than I'm real happy with, but I'm not going to mess with it. What's my power percent? 73. Doesn't need to be that high. I think it's 70. You know, for a normal climb out like this. Somewhere like that. You know, as I've said before, I like to have my airspeed on an ongoing basis for most operations in the mid 200 knot range. So this isn't hurting anything particularly. This isn't setting any alarm bells off. It's nice to go fast, but I prefer it to be about 40 knots slower. At this particular moment, in a modest amount of climb, you know, I'd probably say, no, hell with it, it's fine. I'm not planning on changing anything, I'm just going to keep an eye on it. Let's have a look outside. She doesn't look too nose high. She's just climbing out. Now, 270, 269. The power setting is at 68%. I'm going to kick in a little bit more. Try to. That's probably too much. That'll be alright for now. Those of you who have attempted to fly this airplane, there's so many things that I can tell you that I've done. But what is in my head right now is, have you noticed you haven't heard that horrible alarm go off? That like every time I would get it a little bit nose high or a little bit nose low, there's a certain percentage of nose up or nose down, and to set that alarm off. It is a sound file called pulsinghorn.wav. Pretty sure. PULSINGHORN. All you have to do is get that file out of your sound folder. I mean, I wouldn't recommend deleting it. Just move it out into the main airplane folder, and that will disable it, and you won't have to listen to that alarm anymore. And what a joy it is. The other thing I have done is go into your aircraft config file, into the autopilot section, and where it says auto throttle equals 1, I made it auto throttle equals 0, effectively disabling the auto throttle. Now, auto throttle normally is a good thing. In this airplane, the auto throttle just wants to take over all the time. It's got a mind of its own. You can't count on or rely on what it's going to do. So this one more thing you've got to manually babysit this airplane very closely, and that is with the, notice I'm tweaking the power settings constantly. There is no auto throttle. I've just had to get used to the relationship between the percentage of power on the 3 engines, which you see up here at on the N1 gauges, and the airspeed. Let's see here, we're leveled out, we're at our altitude. Hit the V key and adjust the altimeter, make sure it's set properly at standard 29.92. Now 67.7% of N1, and our airspeed is decreasing a little bit. 285, that'll do. So we're 766 nautical miles away from our destination at a ground speed of, right here you see it, KTGS, knots ground speed, 467 knots. So we're less than 2 hours away. At 2x, okay, for reasons I will get into, I really don't like 4x in this airplane, except for straight and level flight. But I'm going to go to 8x and get to within 200 and some miles, and then back down to 2x. So we're going to go to 8x for a little bit. Oh, and now she's doing all this hobby horsing. Are we doing a lot of hobby horsing? I wouldn't expect to do too much at this altitude. Give her a minute. I think she'll steady out. That's not very much hobby horsing anymore. It looks like a lot more when you're looking from outside the airplane. There are tricks you can pull. I'm going to pull one right now. One is, it doesn't always work. I'll set this higher, but I won't go there. I won't attempt to go there. And somehow it has a tendency to hold the airplane more still. So I'm going to set this up to 33.5. It doesn't always work. Let's see if it works. Yeah, it looks like it did work. Oh, but look, the airplane's climbing. Okay, let's see what happens. What are we in? Oh, we're in VNAV. All right, if it will stay, let's see what it does. Okay, tell you what I'm going to do. What I should have done in the first place, I think. Click Alt in. See if that does it. Well, I don't exactly know how to get it. Oh, there, that steadied it out. Sometimes it works if you do the opposite, you go down. You know, by tweaking the altitude setting. And this is much more of an issue up higher. You know, I worry about this at 50,000 feet. The air's a lot thinner and has a much greater tendency to want to hobby horse. And I hate that. Because when you're at 50,000 feet, you know, you're not doing an 800-mile flight. You're doing a 5,000-mile flight. You're going to be up there for a long time. You You know, I mean, if you're going up and down, up and down, up and down, it's enough to drive you nuts. So, but this is good. Okay, watching the distance, it's coming down. See how everybody's doing here. All the NPAG crew members getting their morning cup of coffee. Everybody happy back here? You bet, boss. Okay. Continuing our tour of the airplane. View from the co-pilot's seat. View of the, that's the keypad. Those are the fuel valves. Those are the throttles down on that console. That's the upper console. There's the battery switches. Where's the APU? There's the APU there, those two. Here's the external power button. Continuing on our way. Here's the moving map, and it's moving. And we're back in the pilot command's chair, which I'm not favoring using right now because the lighting is kind of low. One of the things, see, when you go back to go to the F10 cockpit, it's always nice and bright. And one of the things I have never so far not figured out with this airplane is the brightness or dimness of the lights. As I'm saying that, I should say that that is true. This brightness and dimness of interior lights throughout Flight Simulator, throughout FSX. They go bright and they go dim, and I don't know why. In this airplane, it's particularly an issue because when they're dim, and this is not, they can be dimmer than this. And why do they get dim and why do they get bright? I don't know. I've not been able to figure it out. But one thing you can count on when you go to the F10 cockpit and you get the abstracts of these, what we're looking at right here, they're always nice and bright. Now, where we're going, let's have a look at the map. Kathmandu. Okay, there's where we came from, Mumbai, or down in here somewhere. There's where we're going. There's the big mountains. So our destination is somewhere in here. It's in the foothills of the Himalayas. But those foothills are like 6,000 or 7,000 feet high. So, you know, it can be very challenging, especially when the weather's crappy, which, unfortunately, it usually is. So, let's go to map and take a preliminary look, which I won't count on, at the weather at Kathmandu, because if you take a look at the weather several hundred miles away, which we are, it is of very questionable reliability. You'll get some indication, which we're about to get, of what we can expect. But so often you'll find that when you get closer, like to within 100 miles, it might change. So you never want to count on it. See how we're getting up into, that's 5,000 foot country there. Kathmandu. Tribhuvan International. They're thinking the wind is 049 at 2, visibility 3 miles, scattered clouds. So it's not going to be blowing very hard, but the visibility is typical for that area. And the airport elevation, 4,390, 4,400. But the runway 220 is 10,000 feet long. And sometimes you need that 10,000 feet. So, visibility 3 miles. We'll get an update when we get to within 100 miles. The weather I use is FSX Real Weather, which is I think a German company. You've got to pay for it now. I think it's a modest cost. It's very reliable. I've got a very old grandfathered in version called FSX Real Weather Lite. It was free. I'll never be able to get it again, so I've got this file copied into about 6 locations throughout my computer system so that I never lose it. If it's as good as the full version, frankly, I don't know. But what I've got will give me, this is the weather in this part of the world today, right now, this morning. I guarantee you. It's relatively clear, hazy, typical Indian weather. It's a pretty good weather system. Is it as good as Rex or Active Sky or any of these others? Maybe not. It's simpler. It gives you, all I want is the MEDAR data, and that's what it gives you. It occasionally gets a little squirrely. You've got to watch it. Sometimes I'll just cut it off. I think I'm going to stay with it this morning. Sometimes, especially in high altitudes in North America in the wintertime, where the wind blows really hard, sometimes it'll just go crazy and start, making flight simulator behave strangely. And the thing to do there is to just kill it, cut it off, and then things will settle down. But it's an okay weather system. The price is right. But if you didn't get it back when it was free, I don't think you're going to be able to. But just go buy it. It's only like 20 or 30 bucks, which, is nominal. I don't know how much it is. Look it up on the internet. I'll bet that's about what it is. Which if you really want to, make a commitment to a good weather system, the two that I'm familiar with are Rex and Active Sky, and they're both very good as when last I was paying any attention to it. There are probably others out there. And if you're clever with coding, you can get MEDAR information direct from NOAA and link it into your sim, probably. I would have no idea how to do that, but I'll bet it can be done. I mean, of course it can be done. Other people have done it. Everybody's not a dummy like me. Okay, we're 200 miles out. Time to slow down. In fact, we're closer than I'm comfortable. If I'd been paying attention, I would have done this 40 miles back. Okay, have a look now. We're at 2x. 196 miles out at 33,000. That's not the end of the world, but it's time to start descending. So, left click 45, left click 45, left click 45. I've trained voice attack because I'm not very good with my thumb on the secondary button. Left click 45. Left click 45, left click 45, okay, that's good enough for now. Off. 4,000 feet down. Oh. $2,000 feet down. Okay, we'll go with that for now. A little hot. Reduce power, well, now 33% power. Well, we'll let it be like that for a minute while it gets down through 300 knots. Airspeed, we're descending at 2,000 a minute. That'll do. Well, let's get down to, I've got a target altitude of 11,300. That's kind of where it's getting hairy with the mountains. Keep in mind the field elevation is well above 4,000 feet. And there's big, what they call foothills, which to normal people would be mountains all around. Okay, a little more power in. I don't need too much power when I'm descending like this anyway. 50% might be a bit much. Let's watch the airspeed. It's climbing slower. Let's reduce it to, geez, 34, 35. I was thinking 40%, so that's probably all right. For now, what are those up in the distance? I don't think they're mountains, not yet. Maybe they are. Ugh. We're 146 miles away. I doubt it. The runway alignment is 220. And they're going to be IFR. Let's take it then. Well, no, let's get a little. Let's wait till we get to within 100 miles. See, we're still over nice flat ground, which most of India is nice and flat. It's just foggy, and it's always foggy. That's why I'm here with both the airplanes to practice area approaches. The Premier, which I've been getting better and better with both mouth yoke and with lining up the course pointer to shoot close approaches. Okay, let's below 20,000. I'm kicking in a notch of flaps. The reason I'm here is to practice this and to see how good I've gotten, because I think I've gotten better with both of these airplanes, and that's why we're here to find out. And this, what I'm doing right now, is the first real test of that. I'm shooting and approaching to Triple Reunion, Kathmandu, in 3-mile visibility at 5,000 feet is a good test. Okay, let's get a little more power in. See, below, I have a rule of thumb which you will find strange, but with this airplane, due to its rather peculiar nature, below 20,000 feet, I want to kick in a notch of flaps and fly with one notch of flaps in at all times. It makes the airplane much more aerodynamically stable. You're burning more gas, of course, you're not going as fast, but you're a lot less likely to have the nose just suddenly pitch over and go right into the ground, which is capable of doing. It's a lot more reliable this way. 2013. Let's see, what will it do at 11? We'll just let it out. Let us decrease the rate of descent. 1,100 feet a minute, 1,200. Oh, now it's 900. All right. That was kind of what I had in mind. Yeah, just nice and gently down to the altitude. And we're now 114 miles out. This airplane is a high-spirited filly. It is a very squirrely autopilot. It jumps around. It does a lot of weird things on you. It is consistent, but it takes a lot of practice to see what the consistencies are. And I wouldn't even bother with it, but its performance characteristics are like so good. It's the best performing airplane I've got. It'll give you over 5,000 miles range at over 50,000 feet at over 500 ground speed. And I don't have anything else that'll do that. But as I just said, she's a high-spirited filly. You've got to have your hand on the reins. Okay, 104 miles out. So look, oh boy. This is typical what you get here. Just a bunch of haze. Really got to, see how it was up in the mid-70s. That's too fast unless on the airfield it's going up to 240, 67, 66. At this altitude, that might be all right. Okay, 97 miles away. Let's check the weather again. Now, within 100 miles, your weather report is probably going to be more reliable. It's certainly, more often than not, it will be more reliable. Nothing is the way you would like it to be 100% of the time. See, those are the little baby mountains. Those are the big badass mountains. And let's see, are there even worse, more badly ass mountains? No, they just go on for a while at a very badass height. The Himalayas are the biggest mountain range in the world, as I'm sure most pilots know. Wind 170 at 3, G8. 170? Oh, shit. Visibility 5. Now I gotta think about this. That's 50 degrees off of runway 20. Come in close here. All right, we're going for 20. They'll assign us 20 anyway. That's not my happy place, for sure, but okay. Where should our heading be? It should be at 2. 180. Okay, we can adjust it as we get closer in. So we're 86 miles out. We gotta think about this. We're like at 11.3. We're only about 6,000 feet ATL from our destination airport. Are we going to clear these? Are we going to clear these mountains? I have no wish to do any descending. At least everything's holding relatively steady. 67% power steady. 200 knots airspeed. It's fine. I'm not changing that thing. Let's just get closer. Who knows? They might give us runway 2. The wind's not that strong, but it certainly favors 2-0. See, these things are the. This is the higher ground. We're 74 miles away. Everybody enjoying their coffee? Great. I'm about to enter into a very hairy approach. I want you all to be really nervous about this. Okay, boss, we'll get nervous. Great. Uh-huh. It always looks like this. Looks like what, you might say. That's my reaction too. What does it look like? I don't know. Because I can never see a damn thing. It's like you're entering into the world of Shangri-La. But it ain't so Shangri. In fact, it's pretty freaking scary. Those of you who have watched a few of these Falcon7x videos are looking at this particular airplane and you're thinking, wait a minute, that's not your normal one. The decoration and painting is different. This is the leased airplane. It's usually that's based at London City. This is not the company Falcon, which is way over in South America at Santos Dumont in Rio. So no, this is the one we have on lease. Maybe we'll buy it someday. I don't know. Why should we buy it? In Flightline, there's nobody hardly there. Nobody else is paying any attention to Falcon7Xs. They're only in Flightline because I asked them to put them in, which they very nicely did. Well, what are we doing? What are we doing? Hey, come on, get it back, get it back. No, 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 descent. No, 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 no. This is the kind of stuff you gotta watch. This is why I have a notch of flaps in, because if I didn't, it'd be worse. Okay, she's not having big fluctuations. Let's lock the altitude. Yeah, see that? Keep it steady. Will it? I think so, I hope so. See now, see these darker, see where my mouse pointer is? That's high stuff. That's more than foothills. what normal lowland people like me would call mountains. You can't, it's so hazy you can't see. You just have to trust in God and don't give up an inch of altitude. You don't have to. I'm not planning on losing any more altitude until I'm, 10 miles from the end of the run at this point. These will be sharp little mountains here. Let's make sure we're going to get over them. Can't see a damn thing. Oh. See a little better out here? I don't know about that. Maybe. It's still not very good. Okay, there's the airport. Now we'll get to about what? 25 miles. You know what? I'm gonna go off onto the heading of 2020 before I gotta go over these things. There they are. I think I would clear them anyway, but the hell with it. Let's go to heading mode now. Might be able to get them on the radio. We're making a big assumption here. But from 30 miles out, we could always fix it. Whoa. Kathmandu.
Kathmandu Tower, this is Foxtrot, Delta Foxtrot, Charlie Sierra. This is Foxtrot, Delta Foxtrot, Charlie Sierra, Kathmandu Tower. Take right traffic, runway 20, altimeter 3002. Enter right traffic, runway 20.
It was time to get out of normal speed. I forgot to. I just did that. I don't like to do that while I'm turning. Now see that white? Those are the big mountains. That's where we do not want to be. Oh, now you can see a little better. And if you're not scared, you should be. Okay, I'm going to go left a little bit. Secondary click 20. Left click 20. Got the right command. Let's see how that... I've become very much a fan of voice attack, which due to mainly my disability, there are a lot of little things with my uncoordinated hands that voice attack enables me to create voice commands like what I just did. I am not very good at getting my thumb on the left click button. And with this airplane, if you're familiar with it, reversing buttons like reducing altitude or turning left in heading mode require the secondary button. So I've trained it to just do a secondary flip. Works really well. If anybody else is disabled like me and has these issues, by all means contact me. I'll give you my email address, which is not published anywhere else. It's Trace Tango Romeo Echo Sierra, TRES @RE-NEWS.com. And if you've got any questions, if I can help you, I'd be more than happy to. Maybe I can. I'm not very smart, but you know, I have picked up a little trick or two with this. Okay. Here we're at 11,000. We can't see a bloody thing. We've got mountains all around. But why should we worry? There's too many reasons why we should worry to even worry about it. All I got going for me is I've been here and done this before. Okay, now let's look at the situation. We're 21 miles away from the field. There's the pointer, that's the direction, that's pointing right at the airport. That's the direction of our runway. So what we want to do is get down toward the big white mountains, closer, and then we'll hang a right turn. We ultimately want this pointer to be lined up with that pointer. And we will go to LNAV and lock it in. And then, from a distance of 10 miles from the end of the runway, typical, without worrying about mountains, we would want to be 3,000 feet above ground level at that point, 10 miles from the end of the runway. Here I'd rather be a little bit higher. And with this airplane, you just sight it in, you manually fly it. Now see, here's my heading pointer. I'm flying a little bit away from the track, but I want to be able to get a nice big wide turn coming back in. I'm 21 miles away. Boy, those mountains are big. You can't see them through this haze, and you're probably happy. Because if you did, they'd scare the shit out of you. They'd scare the shit out of me anyway. Okay, I'm going to go back to 020. So I'm on a straight reciprocal course to the runway. Now I'm watching that pointer. When it gets like around here, then I'm going to turn perpendicular. So perpendicular 20 will be 110. I'm going to make a right turn to 110 when this pointer is beyond 150. Keeping it on the mountains, of course. Vague shadows. Oh yeah, here they are. You can see them. Okay, I think it's time to turn in. We'll hold up at 9090. Have a look at what we're doing. Okay, that's not bad. It's holding the altitude very nicely. See, I've got a void patch in here. I can get closer. Drop another force line. Oh, you got a ways to go. See that? So I was smart not to do that. It was an accident, but it was a good thing to have not done. I'll just stay out here. The actual perpendicular, you can see, here's the plane of the runway. The actual perpendicular would be 110. Yeah. Okay, so I'm 21 miles away. I would like to be closer. I'm going to be closer. I'm saying it backwards. I'd like to be farther away when I actually turn to the runway heading, because I want to be all ready to do my final descent 10 miles away from the runway threshold. So 4474, my initial descent altitude would be 7,400 feet. I'm scared shitless of going down that low right now. And guess what? I ain't doing it. There are little hillocks and hills and, you know, what I think of as mountains, but they call them foothills, all over the freaking place here. And they come out of the mist. I mean, I've had, you know, when I wasn't really used to this, I was underestimating it, and suddenly your hand flat, you're just dodging through from one hill after another, trying to pick your way through the little valleys with really crappy visibility. I mean, it's terrible. You know, you really want to try not to do that. So, set the altitude correctly. We're at 11.3. So if I was like in Illinois or somewhere with flat ground, I'd be at 44, 3,000 feet above that. I'd be at 7,400, and I'm at 11.3. Guess what? That's how I'm staying right now. 17 miles away. By the time I get perpendicular, I might be 14 miles away. I don't know. Maybe more than that. This should work out. Okay, see, they're getting pretty close together. We're 16 miles away. I'm not giving up an inch just yet. Okay, I'll turn perpendicular. That's 110. See how dim the light is? Okay. Now these two needles are lined up. Then we're going to lock in on L now. From 15 miles out. Then we'll adjust down to the 7,400. See, that's a nasty little hillock right there. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll adjust down to 9,000 or something. See that little dark spot? We're going to be going over that to get to the airport. I vaguely remember that. This is the kind of crap you got to be looking at. Okay, I'm coming around. Let's have a look. Oh, we're getting close, we're getting close. Okay, gear down. Now let's go flaps full. And lock in the course, this is it. Go to LNAV. Now let's get right back and have a look at our airspeed, which is getting a little slow. Which you got to expect considering we just went to full flaps. Airspeed's climbing a little bit. Okay, let's get in a little closer look. It's a by 2 minutes run, so it won't show it to you. It'll look in real life though, when you get to see it, it'll look great. Okay, easy now. Ease back a little power. Ease back a little on the power. Into the 80s. 10 miles out. Okay. Left click 45. That'll do. .170's looking good. 7 miles away. It's almost time for 6,000 AGL. Autopilot off. Mouse yoke on. Clear to land. Respond to them.
Clear to land. Runway 20. Foxtrot, Charlie, Sierra.
Coming in with 5 miles away. Where are we? Where are we? What? What's that? What's that? Is that a light? I believe that's it. Slow down. Flight idle. You're hot. You're very hot. You're slowing down. Straighten her out. Straighten her out. Oh, you're looking good, you're looking good. Straighten her out, straighten her out. You're good, you're good.
Sink rate. Pull up. Pull up.
You got a 10,000 foot runway to work with.
Pull up.
Flare a little, flare, 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 flare. Good.
Sink rate.
Easy, 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 easy. Straighten, straighten, straighten. Spoilers.
Foxtrot, Charlie, Sierra. Contact ground on 121.9.
It could have been better, but it wasn't a real disaster.
Going to 121.9. Foxtrot, Charlie, Sierra.
Spoilers up. flaps up. Okay, everything's up, looking good. Yeah, we gotta do a little back fixing. Very nice flight altogether. We got a little slow right at the end there, so we wobbled a little right on short final. But we were able to straighten it down. It was a pretty gentle landing. We weren't exactly totally on the runway, but it wasn't too bad. Believe me, I've had worse. And we negotiated the mountains very nicely. That's the terminal area. Down there, that's where we'll be parking. I guess we'll turn off there. We can go on down. That's what I was thinking. Kathmandu is a really nice airport. It's just the crap around it that's scary. Scares the hell out of me every time. A little less every time as I get more used to it. I've probably been in here, geez, 30 times. I mean, you know, in my career. My career of mediocre flight simulating is stretching back into the 90s. So I've done this a long time. I go back to FS4. And since I've been in a wheelchair, I can't fly real airplanes anymore. I can't drive. I've been flying a wheelchair and I've had a great amount of time to spend in Flight Simulator. So I have done so because my aviation interest never diminished. Now I'll go down around that building. Just make sure I don't run into the gas pump. In flight line and in FSC, you don't want to inadvertently gas up your airplane because FSC, especially, I'm not sure about flight line actually, FSC will see you coming in with full tanks when you stop the flight, pull the parking brake. It'll read and it'll say, well, you didn't burn any gas. So I'm going to cancel this flight, and it'll do that. And you might lose 2 hours worth of your life. We'll just park right here. Okay. Parking brake. Wait for the little white box. There it is. Okay. Flightline has acknowledged us at Kathmandu. So, time to shut her down. And of course we do that by closing the fuel valves. Open the hatch. Well, my goal with bringing these two, my two favorite airplanes, to the Indian subcontinent was to come back and do some more tough approaches, which some of you who were watching some of my earlier videos, I was doing that, and they weren't very good. You know, I've learned a lot since. That's kind of my point here, is to provide a demonstration for myself mainly. You know, that yeah, I am better. I'm scoring this experience right here as one indication that that is the case. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty good. So, the real test that I've been wanting is with the Premiere, though. We'll see how we can do with it. And that'll be our next flight, and I'll probably video it too. So, there we are. That was a pretty good flight. Just that little glitch right at the end there where we sort of hit the edge of the runway. You know, I wish that hadn't been. I should have been monitoring my airspeed coming right down to the bottom. What I did not realize was I was getting a little slow. And what I was worried about going down there, because it was such a steep descent from when I first saw the runway, was that I would be going too fast. This is the kind of thing that can happen, especially when you're coming in with full flaps. This airplane is very civilized, and it was slowing right down. But it wasn't that bad. It was a pretty good landing, really. It was a very soft landing. So anyway, thanks a lot for coming along. I'm pretty sure the next flight is going to be the Premiere from Tokyo Haneda to join up, and it'll be probably parked right in this very spot. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to video it. If I don't, I'll have egg on my face now that I've said all this stuff. So thanks for coming along, and we'll catch you later.